Welcome to yet another episode of the Beard Al Podcast, a podcast about two of the greatest things in the world, beer and Weird Al. Ooh, that one was active. I splashed my face a little bit. I'm Lauren. I am always here. And my delightful husband, Russ, has deigned to roll his chair in from the other room. Hello.
I have. Hello.
Hello. And we have not only a Beard Al podcast newcomer, but I believe a podcasting in general newcomer in our friend and music aficionado, Kevin Taylor. Hello, Kevin. How are you?
I am flattered and doing well. I'm on cloud 9, cloud 27. I'm feeling okay.
Yay. So for those of you listening and you hear Kevin's voice, you're like, this man has never done a podcast before. I assure you, this man has never done a podcast before. You popped on and I was like, oh, I knew what your voice sounded like, but there's something about hearing it like in headphones when you're getting ready to do a podcast. It goes, oh, people are going to enjoy listening to this. Everybody here is very smooth. Our voices are all smooth.
I'm hoping they dig the voice because I know when I hear it, no, thank you.
Well, it sounds different than inside your own head.
Yeah, I think everybody's that way with their own voice.
Yeah, it's true. So we all know why I'm here, and we all know why Russ is here. But as you know, just because you've never been here before, Kevin, we know why you should be here. But let's tell the listeners of the Beard Al podcast, Kevin, what makes you the guy that is going to sit and talk about Here's Johnny with us today as we kick off side 2 of Polka Party?
Well, Weird Al is quite literally my introduction to music. His music, like with many listeners, I'm sure, extremely influential on not just like getting me interested in music, but also broadening my horizons with music. I recall, back in my elementary school days, we weren't the, best off school system in the country, but we did have Mr. Crowner's music appreciation class, which didn't involve us playing any instruments by any means, but we would, pile into this room and he would have an overhead projector with a, clear sheet that had lyrics on it. So he would just pretty much play Weird Al music. We would, sing along to what was projected on the wall.
Aww.
And then later, we actually got a little bit of an upgrade because he had a television in the classroom and he would play the occasional Weird Al music video along with the music. So we had some visuals that weren't just typed lyrics. So that really opened up a lot of doors. I mean, of course, I was familiar with Michael Jackson and, other, pop artists, but Weird Al made me excited about music. The very first cassette tape I ever bought was his Even Worse cassette. First CD I ever bought before I even had a CD player was Bad Hair Day. And and as far as Here's Johnny, I will admit I don't own Polka Party, but I got the permanent record box set back in the day, and that was my introduction to a huge array of Al's library.
Oh yeah, that permanent record is something else.
Yeah, it's a good box set.
It's a really good Al in the box. Nobody really knows
Yes.
which one to call it, right?
I don't know why, but I always called it a permanent record when I was a kid.
Well, there's a not to dig too deeply into a thing that is not even close to where we are at the moment, but there's a whole thing with the nomenclature of the permanent record / Al in the box situation, which I think is kind of interesting, and I'm just trying to come up upon it. I'm on the internet, as one ought to be most of the time. It is officially titled Permanent Record: Al in the Box.
Yeah, but the bigger stamp at the top is what always stuck out to me.
Right. But I knew that there was something involved with it, and I feel like this is a funny little thing to derail on because, like, right here at the beginning, like, why not, because both Permanent Record and Al in the Box were titles proposed by Weird Al. However, he favored Permanent Record, whereas his label preferred Al in the Box. And both parties, being unwilling to yield, eventually decided to call it Permanent Record : Al in the Box.
Yeah, there you go.
The best of both worlds. So instead of calling it soda or pop, they're calling it soda pop.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's that. Yeah, I like that, I can't even, I know, Russ, that your introduction to Here's Johnny was clearly on Polka Party. I'm trying to remember if I first heard it on this album or in a compilation, and I truly don't. So, I can't.
Well, I'm sure I've talked about this on your show before, and there's sometimes when you get a Weird Al album, some of them are obvious at least when I was a kid, when you got like Even Worse or Off the Deep End or any Weird Al album in the heyday of when you would walk into a store and be able to pick up the CD or the album or whatever and flip it over and look at the track listing, right? Pre-internet, right? Some songs you would look at the track listing automatically and know for sure what it was going to be. So like, well, I mean, obviously like whatever the lead single was. So like Smells Like Nirvana, you just look at it and go like, well, obviously that's the one, right? But then there were other things, and this was part of the fun. I don't think we've ever talked about this on your show before. This was part of the fun with buying a Weird Al album for me back in the day was you would see song titles that were similar to other things and be like, oh, please let that be a parody of that thing. And sometimes it was, and sometimes it wasn't. And I'm very poorly prepared for this argument, but I guarantee if I, like we could bring it up again sometime on the show after I've looked, I could tell you, like, I know for a fact I've looked at Weird Al albums and been like, oh, I hope that's a parody of, and then listen to the album and been like, that's not even remotely that style of that artist, but I remember clearly because I love the movie Short Circuit so much, and I love the band DeBarge so much. I remember, and we know that I have a traumatic story of buying Polka Party. I remember looking at the track listing and literally being like, please, please, please let that be a parody of Here's Johnny. And I was so stoked when it was. And history has been very unkind to this song, Here's Johnny. Like, it was a much bigger hit than people will remember. That it was like the song Here's Johnny was a much, much bigger hit. Who's Johnny was a much bigger hit than people remember that it was. Like people barely remember Rhythm of the Night now, but that song was enormous no, not that song. See, you are wrong.
Really? Am I wrong?
The Last Dragon.
Yeah.
Oh shoot, I am wrong.
Yeah, the Rhythm of the Night by the band DeBarge was a fantastic. Like if I put it on right now, you'd be like, oh,
I believe in the rhythm of the night. Is that the one?
Yeah. Dancing till the morning.
Show enough.
Yeah. It's just a wonderful song. They also had a great ballad hit called "Who's Holding Donna Now" that was wonderful. And but anyways, "Who's Johnny" was a solo hit by El DeBarge, and they're a Detroit band or Michigan band. Anyways, DeBarge. So it was like a perfect storm of like, hey, I really hope that's that song, But history has been like really, really, really unkind to DeBarge. Like even "Rhythm of the Night" was everywhere. It was a huge hit, and barely anyone remembers that. Some people even sing the wrong song.
I do.
But like no one remembers "Who's Johnny," and the song charted way, 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 way higher than anybody would assume now, to the point where it was parodied by Al because it was a big hit.
It was number 3 here on the Billboard Hot 100. And it was number 1 in Canada.
Yeah, but like number 3, when this came out, that's a huge, huge placement.
It was 67 year-end chart for 1986. So yeah, it was a big song.
Yeah, it was a very big song, and no one remembers it, which is gross. But anyways, so for all those things, oh, that's fun. I'm seeing Sayeda Garrett sing.
She sang backing vocals on it. I was just about to tell you that. And Michael McDonald also sang backing vocals.
Well, yeah, but then again, in fairness, Michael McDonald sang backing vocals. I think he's singing backing vocals on
now,
like while I'm talking. Yeah. I think he's doing backing vocals. But anyways, so I know this is a very long way to say this, but like I literally remember looking at the back of Polka Party and being like, please be "Who's Johnny? Please be "Who's Johnny? Please be "Who's Johnny?" Because it could have gone any way. And then as soon as it started, I was just like, yes. Because I love that movie so much when I was a kid, Short Circuit.
I've never seen Short Circuit.
Oh,
Kevin, have you seen Short Circuit?
It has been a while, but yes, I saw Short Circuit and the sequel as well back in the day on like Comedy Central reruns.
I like the sequel as well. The sequel is completely different. They
couldn't.
Sequel? Yeah. Oh yeah. They couldn't get. Okay. So now Well, here goes our first real tangent. So
Well, this is what we were allowed to do this.
So you see, kids, Short Circuit was this movie that was supposed to be serious, but then a bunch of label execs got involved, and they were like, "But what if it's a slapstick, though?"
Mm-hmm.
So they hired Steve Guttenberg and Ali Sheedy, and they brought them in. They were like, "And what if it's a romantic comedy about this killer robot hired by the government or made by the government to destroy everything that becomes alive?" So it became surprisingly charming, and they made the I'm trying to decide the right words to use. So Fisher Stevens is a Caucasian actor.
Sure. Oh dear.
Who do you want to say the name of his character there?
Ben Jabatoya.
Okay. And what race do you think Ben Jabatoya
He's
is?
probably Japanese.
Nope. Try again.
Ben Jabatoya. Indian?
Yes.
Okay.
And do you think that they left Fisher Stevens in his white skin for that role?
No, he Mickey Rooney, didn't he?
And so much worse.
Oh, no.
Like, I mean, they like literally did the skin color, literally. And then he is like doing, you know how there was like the uproar over the Simpsons character?
Apu, yes.
Okay. This is like real life
Mm.
on the screen. Okay. Now we're going to go a step further, because as with all things that are greenlit and make money, the studio decides they're going to go ahead with a sequel without having signed Steve Guttenberg and Ali Sheedy, who are like the main point of the first movie.
Oh dear.
And who's left to be the focus of the sequel?
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. And let me say this, there's no way to do this without being offensive. Most of what you remember from the second movie is Mr. Number Johnny 5 is like what he says through like most of the film.
Oh my goodness.
So
There's a whole section in the Wikipedia article called Whitewashing Criticism.
yeah.
Oh dear.
But okay, this is how bad it is, and I'm not being like I'm not standing on any sort of soapbox about this stuff at all. Like, I had no idea that Fisher Stevens was a white person until like 1998 or something,
Uh-huh.
because I saw him like got an award show or something, and I was like,
Oh,
isn't that it wasn't no, but it was like a God, I'm remembering wrong. I totally thought that seems like the same name of the guy that was in Short Circuit. You know, like that's how like dumb and innocent I was about it, right? And then like somewhere like somebody was like, yeah, that was the guy that was in Short, and I was like, no, because that guy, you know, like it was one of those things. So,
wow.
yeah, but I mean, the first one's charming, and Ben is not in it all that much. And the second one is very funny, except that how do I like I say, for the first like 10 years that I watched the second one, I thought it was hilarious because I thought he was an Indian actor, and then it kind of got ruined for me when I realized like I didn't know that he wasn't an Indian actor. So and I haven't seen it since then.
Okay. I've never seen
Russ,
it. We'll
if it makes you feel any better, Jurassic Park: The Lost World, I didn't realize that the character of Ajay was also in brownface, and actor Harvey Jason. Yeah, it took me a solid decade or so before I stumbled across that. It happens to the best of us.
Hand to God, I thought you were doing a bit. I thought you were going to say that you didn't realize the dinosaurs weren't real.
Wait, what?
Jesus horses?
Yeah, I thought you were setting up a bit, and so
They didn't really use that dino DNA.
yeah, no kidding.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, so what's funny is it's so weird because I saw the sequel so many times when I was a kid, because the sequel he's trying to date this woman who loves music, and it you're never going to believe this, but that appealed to me. Like the whole, like she loves music. There's a whole thing in the finale of the movie, how like the only way that they find each other is through all these songs that they love. And I love that. So I watched the sequel a lot when I was a kid, and then I have never watched it since I found that out. So, you know, it's a bummer. I had that like whole thing taken away from me because they did that instead of just casting an Indian actor.
Yeah.
Or writing the character different. You know,
Or that.
It's not based on a true story. They could have just named him different and given him a different nationality, and everything would be okay.
Yeah, there is an episode of the Master of None TV show that actually discusses the Short Circuit character. And Aziz apparently did call up Fisher Stevens, not on the show, but around the show. And Fisher said, "Hey, it was a job. I spoke with a dialect coach."
Hmm.
So
No, that's true.
that
Yeah, I did.
yeah.
No, Fisher Stevens, I don't have an issue with it, especially that. Like I've
Mhm.
learned that about. Like I think, yeah. First of all, he you get hired, and you're doing what they tell
Yeah.
you to do, and yes, he absolutely did. Like if and the character is far different in the second one than the first one. Like the first one, he is trying to do like this is how an Indian person in this position would act, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, it's more. Hollywood was just like, isn't it hilarious? Those guys, like those people are funny, and it's like, no, those are just human beings, though. Hollywood,
Mm.
So, anyways, to bring it back to something positive, though, the thing is, like, I was so enamored with the whole short circuit thing at the time that this was one of those like perfect storm things for me, where it was like, I rarely was I ever up late enough to like watch Carson, but of course I knew who McMahon was because of, I mean, it's part of the pop culture, the whole "Here's Johnny" thing, and then Weird Al makes references in the song to all the other reasons why people my age would know who he is: the Alpo Dog commercials and the sweepstakes checks and all that. So it was just like a perfect storm for a kid my age at that time of like, here's this short circuit thing. You love DeBarge. They're a Michigan band, and all this Ed McMahon stuff that's part of the pop culture all mixed into one. It's just like it was a very big for such a. I would imagine most Weird Al fans think of this as like a throwaway track at best, and I couldn't disagree more.
I have not made it to the Bigger and Weirder concert yet. That's coming up later in August for me, but I'm assuming this is either the opener or the encore song.
Yeah. Well, at the risk of spoiling the experience for you, he did open with it, and then he did an acoustic version to close the main set. And then there was a remixed rap version that he opened the encore with. It was pretty sweet.
Yeah, it was Johnny
Oh,
was
good.
everywhere. It was
Well, Russ, when you were talking about like, oh, I knew about Ed McMahon, and my story was a complete 180 almost. When I was originally exposed to this song, for some reason, even with The Shining and the Here's Johnny and all that, for some reason, in my young brain, thought this was kind of in the same vein as That Boy Could Dance, where Al just made up this character, and I don't know how I didn't make any kind of connection to it.
That's great.
And around that time, there was the No Going Home concert in 1996 was about when I bought the box set. And Ed McMahon is in that special. And I never made the connection. Also, I didn't initially make the connection that was Ed McMahon, even though they even called him by name in that special. I thought it was Leslie Nielsen because Weird Al was in the Naked Gun movies.
This is delightful and fantastic.
You know that meme or GIF of I think it's from It's Always Sunny with Charlie whoever and he's
Pepe Silva,
whatever is
yeah.
that like that's what I'm about to do for like the way that Kevin gets to Ed McMahon being in this song. I'm like, holy cow! Like I just did like a 10-minute straight diatribe about like Fisher Stevens and everything and all that, and then Kevin's like, "Oh no, I got you beat." Okay, so here's what I was physically looking at Ed McMahon, and
I still didn't believe it.
Yeah.
Oh, I was watching it on like free Disney Channel weekend with my parents, and I'm like, "Oh man!" I'm like laughing and pointing at the guy. I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's Ed McMahon." I'm like, "Yeah, it's because Weird Al's in the Naked Gun movies."
Oh man,
just elementary school, Kevin.
That's great. That elementary school Kevin.
Well, classic Kevin.
I feel like elementary school Kevin is going to be a saying in our house now when one of us like makes a gaffe of some sort. Oh, elementary school Kevin.
Well, you know how I am. I'm always like, we watch, I'm such an old now. Like when we watch Saturday Night Live these days, like probably about 10 years ago, I started going with hosts to be watch Saturday Night Live this week where I'm the host and so-and-so's a musical guest. And I would be like, I have no idea. What is she from? Not the artist, but the host. About 10 years ago, I started going, do I even know her? And whoever was around me would be like, yeah, she's on that hit show. And I would be like, well, what is that? Right. So I started doing that. And then within about the past, about 4 years, about 3 or 4 years, I have started to watch Saturday Night Live this week where I'm hosting and so-and-so's musical guest. And I turned to Lauren and I'm like, I don't know who either of those people are. Like, so I'm going to, from now on, be like, classic elementary Kevin.
Elementary school Kevin. That's great. I love it. Yeah. So I feel like this is a good spot to talk about, you know, famously with Weird Al fans, the Polka Party album is so incredibly underrated. You know, it didn't do super at the time, but like if you're in the aloe sphere, not like aloe, the plant, like, but the al-o-sphere, the Weird Aloe sphere, you appreciate this album so much more, I think. And I look at it now, and especially since we're talking about Short Circuit with Here's Johnny, you've got Rocky with Living with a Hernia, and then like 2 episodes from now, we're going to be talking about Toothless People, which is a parody of Ruthless People, right? There are 3 songs directly connected to movies on this album. And I wonder, was this like look at, not only is the song a big deal, the movie's a big deal, so all of this is going to be a big deal. Let's throw it all into one spot. And like it didn't work out the way everybody expected, or what? I'm not entirely sure. I feel like we'll have a bigger conversation about that 2 episodes from now, because my friend and fellow podcaster Robert Yannis Jr., who has a movie podcast, is going to be on with us to talk about Toothless People. And we will, in advance of that, watch Ruthless People, the movie. So we'll be having that whole big conversation. But it's just like, I can't think of another Weird Al album with this many songs that closely related to film that aren't parodying the film.
Yeah.
Kevin's making a Kevin thinking face now.
Oh, classic elementary school Kevin.
Elementary school Kevin.
I bet he made that face a lot in elementary school.
Well, I was thinking like, okay, like soundtrack, even just, soundtrack songs. I was like, Bad Hair Day had, from Dangerous Minds, Gangsta's Paradise, rest in peace, Coolio. It had, from Batman Forever, but I don't know about a third one.
Yeah. Yeah. That one's close with 2. But yeah, this one's just, and so I just think that's kind of interesting. And yeah, like what's also just kind of, I've got the entire album set list up on the screen over here. And so I'm just like looking at this swath of songs, and of all of the things that he parodied on this, he was banking on something being more timeless than it ended up being, like, because obviously in 3D had Eat It, which, you've got your timelessness going for it right there. Dare to Be Stupid has like the Yoda, which was already timeless when he did it, and stuff like that. But then you get to Polka Party, and it's like there's nothing that he parodied on here that like screams, I'm going to stand the test of time.
The only thing I disagree with is, I would argue that Addicted to Love is still, people still know Addicted to Love.
Sure, that would be the one that I would have pulled, but again,
I personally like. There's a lot more to Robert Palmer than 2 damn songs, but I personally like Simply Irresistible quite a bit more than Addicted to Love. However, I have made my peace with the fact that the rest of the world knows Addicted to Love far more than Simply Irresistible, or as my mother used to call it, and I don't know why, Strictly Irresistible.
Aww.
She also constantly referred to Hulk Hogan versus the alternate warrior. So I don't know what was going on with those 2, but it happened all the time. And I always have to stop myself from saying, like just now, the reason why I remembered that is because I had to constantly stop myself from saying Strictly Irresistible because she used to say it so much.
Oh.
But anyways, so like, here's the thing. Time should have been way more kind to all of these songs than they are. Like, okay, yes, James Brown is a legend and lived for at least, I think, another decade and a half after this.
Mm-hmm.
But like Living in America, as far as I'm aware, is by far the last big hit that he had, you know. And did he have much bigger hits in the 30 years before that? Yes. But this was a huge hit for him. Addicted to Love, huge hit. Again, Who's Johnny? I'm sure a lot of people listening to this episode who are very learned Weird Al fans are probably just learning that Who's Johnny was a thing, and it was a number 3 hit, you know. To those people, I like everything about that was supposed to be bigger than it was at the time. Like the movie was supposed to be bigger than it was. And you know what I mean? So it is what it is, but time should be much kinder to all of these songs. And what bums me out is the Weird Al's work on this record is top notch, even if the songs, the original songs, don't stand the test of time.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. Like, we just listened to Here's Johnny, like right before we sat down, because that's what you got to do, you know, when you do this. So it's like super fresh in the old noggin. And I was so impressed by Al's vocal on this, and also the production around his vocal to make it sound appropriate for the track. I'm like, I'm sitting there listening to this and like I'm bopping to it because I know it super well. And I'm like, this is fantastic.
Well, I have always said this record for me is one of the ones where it really comes into him and his band making a very large effort to make every song sound the same as the original production wise. Like
go right
ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I actually think that Here's Johnny is a better song than Who's Johnny.
Ooh,
yeah.
You know what?
I think
I think this is a great place for an ad break, because I want people to like hold on and listen to the ads and like listen to you make that point. Okay. So folks, hang on. We've got some ads coming at you, and then we'll come back on the other side with Kevin's argument, which I'm sure we'll all agree with, but I want to let you wait to hear it. So hold on, people.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff?
Remember yesterday I was telling you how I wished I could have seen one of Billy Joel's sold-out shows at Madison Square Garden?
Yeah, I said you should go see Taylor Swift instead. She's the modern-day Billy Joel.
Well, today my phone said I should read an interview with Billy Joel where he talks about both retirement and Taylor Swift.
Oh, man. It's always so creepy when that happens.
We should do a podcast about how our devices are always listening to us.
We already do. It's called Suggested Articles.
A podcast?
We talk about how technology is always spying on us and how those tech corporations are such big buttholes.
Dude, you can't say buttholes on a podcast promo.
Dude, we already did. Twice.
Join us every other Monday on Suggested Articles,
the podcast,
on your favorite podcast app.
Part of the OddPods Media Network.
Each of us identify with one of the Golden Girls. I'm Sophia. Erin is Dorothy. Kristen is Sweet Rose. And each week we'll have a guest sit in the Blanche spot, the naughty seat. Come join us on the lanai for some cheesecake.
Part of the OddPods Media Network.
Is your popcorn ready? Then pull up a chair and join me, Robert Yanis Jr., at Crooked Table Productions, where we discuss the world of film from a fresh angle on 2 exciting shows. On Close Watch, we get to know our guests through the movies they love, from current hits to timeless classics. And on Franchise Detours, we believe no movie series travels in a straight line as we explore the journeys of series like Rocky, X-Men, and Child's Play. Both Close Watch and Franchise Detours are proud members of the OddPods Media Network. Find them wherever you get your podcasts and on crookedtable.com. We'll see you at the movies.
And we're back. Yeah. So I know you've been waiting on pins and needles through all of those delightful ads.
Which are your fault, by the way.
Yeah, because they're based on what you Google or what you listen to or what you click on, all that stuff. Not my fault. I didn't do it. All my ads are for Winn-Dixie. So,
I just heard a bunch of stuff for furry costumes.
Oh, well, that'll do it.
Classic elementary school Kevin.
Classic 40-year-old Kevin, am I right?
Right.
I love it. Oh my goodness. Okay, so Kevin, before we went to break, you made the point that you think that Here's Johnny is a better song than Who's Johnny. So the floor is yours. Please make that point that I'm sure I'll agree with.
Okay, and there is no way that the fact that I am more familiar with Here's Johnny, in being a strong part of my childhood, has any impact on the fact that it is a better song. But I just think that, like, even the instrumentals, the little synth, like doodle-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, which I did a
great
impeccable
job. Yeah, perfect.
job right there.
I'm gonna get struck for copyright on that.
Right.
I just think it sounds richer. I think Al's vocals match the instrumentals a little bit better, and the Ed McMahon or incredible, like, yeah, seamless Ed McMahon impersonator
That is
sound bites
John Rourke.
really add.
That's a man by the name of John Rourke who does the voice of Ed McMahon.
Thank you for that. I actually researched that over the weekend, but I didn't write it down, so I forgot it. And thank you, Lauren.
You're welcome.
You are on the ball.
I try.
But I think that, well, one, Al's Here's Johnny just starts with a boom, boom, boom. You are in the song. Whereas Who's Johnny takes like 30 seconds to kind of build up before you really get into the groove. But yeah, once again, the laugh, the hey-o, it takes the song to a higher plateau. I think that Al's version is superior. And also, like, it's not, that different lyric-wise. When I was listening to Who's Johnny, to try to refresh my, old memory on that, Al changed the lyrics to his being there has made my life worth living, and a very special guy versus her being there has made my life worth living, and a very special girl. Just lyricism like that really took Here's Johnny into the stratosphere.
That's for sure. Like, this is one of those times where I love kind of the juxtaposition with what Al did lyrically compared to the original, right? And you absolutely make that point that there are some lines in and of themselves that are almost direct parallels. I think what's interesting is the spirit of the song in a lot of ways, though, has similarities, but in a way that only Weird Al could do. Meaning, the Who's Johnny? I just pulled the lyrics up here, right? And essentially, the thesis of this is like, she doesn't recognize who I am, and that's crushing me, right? And like, I am in love with her. She doesn't know who I am, right? Whereas, Here's Johnny by Weird Al, it's like Ed McMahon doesn't know who he is either, but it's still like he's a very special guy, and I can't change the channel when he's sitting on the panel,
Right.
And they're both songs of unrequited love in their own weird way.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, and for the record, I do. What's so funny is that I do. From the moment I heard this, I was like, "This is a better song." Like like it is a better version of the song. It's produced better, and I like the lyrics better. But again, like, I don't. As a kid, I didn't identify with anything to do with the lyrics of Who's Johnny. The only reason I liked the song was because it was in Short Circuit, and I liked DeBarge, right? And I know it's an Al DeBarge solo song, but when he's singing on the DeBarge material, to me, it was the same thing as a 10-year-old. So
Yeah.
But anyways, but other than it being DeBarge and being in Short Circuit, I didn't have like any super affinity to it for the lyrics or anything. And then here comes Weird Al and takes it and makes it about this thing that I do know a ton about. And there's just, like you were saying, little things like that was the line that was famous from his from the Publishers Clearinghouse commercials that he did, was the "You may already be a winner." That was like his thing. It was in the commercials would, they'd show up at people's houses, at McMahon and whatever else, and he'd have this check, and they would, all these people would poo-poo themselves, and Ed McMahon would give them these. And then he'd, make sure to fill out the Publishers Clearinghouse. You may already be a winner. And so, like, whatever. I'm sure I was drinking the finest of Kool-Aid the first time that I drank the first time I listened to the song, but it was like, when he was like, he said you may already be a winner. I just was like he said the thing, he said, and then I forget what the exact lyric is, but he makes the reference to the dog food commercial. And was, and of course we had a dog and his name was Crimson. And of course he had to have Alpo dog food because I don't know where Alpo dog food disappeared to, but it was like the thing in the 80s that everyone fed their big dogs. And because Ed McMahon was the spokesperson for it. So again, it was just all the stuff tied in. But for me, to circle back to something earlier, there's a lot of good production on Dare to Be Stupid, but Polka Party for me is where he really turns the corner, and everything is like I think every track on the record is the closest that he got to the original production of everything, and in this case coming close to, and in many ways outdoing the production. I've never looked at the credits for who worked on Who's Johnny, but I guarantee you it's a who's who. You know what I mean? Like as far as producers. But I mean, when you have backup singers like Saida Garrett and Michael McDonald just milling around on the track, then
Yeah.
I'm certain there was some wild professionals involved. You know?
It was produced by Peter Wolf, who produced Night Shift by the Commodores.
Oh, there
He
you go.
produced We Built the City and Sarah for Starship. He produced Everybody Have Fun Tonight and Who's Johnny.
Well, there you go.
He also composed music for Weekend at Bernie's 2.
Oh boy, part 2 is not the best.
And Neverending Story 3.
I will disagree with you on that one, Russ.
Yeah, you're a big Weekend at Bernie's Part 2 apologist, are you?
When Netflix ended their disc system, I was still a subscriber, and I got to keep the last disc. And it was Weekend Bernie's at 2. So
that's
a hard
great.
copy of it in a tiny little sleeve.
That's
so it'll always
fantastic.
have a special part in my heart.
That's delightful.
There's a lot of sequels that I like better than the original, though, that people don't like. I think Mannequin 2 is better than the first one. I quite enjoy Wayne's World 2 better than the first one.
Wayne's World 2 is great.
Yeah,
I agree.
There's a lot of sequels that I like better than the first one. Actually, it's been so long since I saw Wayne's World 2, or I'm sorry, Wayne's World 2, Weekend at Bernie's 2. I have to give it a shot again. But yeah, it just, it was such a fun track for me. And for the people who would have worked on that track, for Weird Al and his team to come close to or to exceed that. You and I were just talking about this, not on the show, Lauren, but like recently, one of the many things people don't wrap their heads around about exactly what it is that Weird Al, like, I think there's probably many people out in the world who think that Weird Al just takes like a karaoke track and writes silly lyrics over it. And I'm certain every person listening who adores Weird Al probably just made the cringe face, and I hate it too. Like, just know that I hate, but I assure you there are people in the world who think that that's a thing, that they think that like that's all he does, and it's so wrong. Like, it could not be more wrong. And the fact that they were, able to recreate all of this production is really something, in my opinion. I mean, this is like in a really aggressive thing for the time to like be like, oh no, we're gonna recreate. There's so many synths and things, and this is not like to now. Like now, I could just go on the internet and get a bunch of these sounds, like synth sounds and stuff, and like make this on my laptop. Then you had to have the synths or access to them in a very expensive studio. And then what's the other thing that you needed? The talent, to be able to play that stuff, two things severely lacking today. So I don't know. It's just things like this. I like this track. I think within Weird Al fans, I think they wildly take this track for granted, and it's upsetting. Not the three of us here.
No, that's why we're here. Kevin, you picked this. I sent you. I said to you, would you like to talk about a song on Polka Party? And it was like, well, here's Johnny.
Oh, yeah. I mean, once going back to elementary, Kevin, but I would have my friends come over to the house, and I would play this song on the stereo, and I could remember, like, wait for it. And then I'd get to the and we just ate it up. We would rewind the last like third of this song over and over again. But yeah, it was a big part of my childhood for some odd reason. I mean, it was that permanent record, Al in the Box, is 4 discs of music, and this and probably Jurassic Park were the two that for some odd reason got played the most.
That's fantastic. Yeah, no, I mean, Jurassic Park is also great too. And I would be remiss if I didn't bring up this amusing little anecdote. So Russ, you were mentioning DeBarge being a Michigan group, and El DeBarge, who is the Who's Johnny fellow, he was actually born in Detroit. And do you know who else was born in Detroit?
Many people, myself included.
Ed McMahon.
Oh yeah. I think I did know that at some point.
I just think that's a fun little thing to like. There's obviously it's the Here's Johnny and the Who's Johnny of it all that made this happen, not the fact that they're both from Detroit. Like that wouldn't have anything to do with it. That's just one of life's little happy accidents that I enjoy.
Stars aligned.
I've been searching for those stars to align. I broke Kevin.
So being my first podcast appearance, and first and maybe only, I was like, oh, I'm in good hands. You two will be able to run the show, and what a perfect song, because worst case scenario, you guys are Johnny Carson, and then I just sit here and laugh along. It's perfect.
It's great. It's great. No, you're doing awesome. And I will tell you this right now, and this is recorded, the people can hear it. You're welcome back here whenever you'd like. So if there's a track on Even Worse you'd like to talk about, let me know. We can make it happen. I only have a handful of them claimed so far. So, I'm just saying.
I am shocked people didn't just snatch up every single track on that CD.
Right? I know, right?
I think that going forward, it's going to get harder you're going to have a lot more volunteers for records going forward, because you're going to get into the, I think after Even Worse is where you get into that phase of everyone our age has a Weird Al album that is their Weird Al album. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was here for the whole damn show, but a lot of people from UHF on is where they really got into Weird Al.
Yeah.
I am curious how you guys are going to be handling the UHF album. If you're like, all right, here's our guest. We're going to talk about Gandhi 2.
Yeah.
That's it.
So that's a good question. And, what we did on Dare to Be Stupid with George of the Jungle was we lumped that with the track right after, because it's I can't do a whole episode about George of the Jungle. But we might be able to do a whole episode about Gandhi 2. Or we can extrapolate Gandhi 2 and Spatula City and all, the little things like that.
We'll probably do a one episode for all the commercials.
Yeah.
Because wait, there's just the two on the album, right?
Yeah.
Well, if
Just
we're going to
the
do that,
two,
then
and
we
then-
can include Conan the Librarian into it.
And we could just do, we'll figure that out. But yeah, we've got a
And
whole
probably 3 installments for Let Me Be Your Hog.
Let Me Be Your Hog. Yeah, that's oh my gosh, that's probably that whole episode. He's right. That Let Me Be Your Hog is going to take 3 episodes at least.
Oh, I would imagine so. Yeah.
Just to unpack all the lyrics on that.
Yeah. I agree.
So that's a good point, Kevin.
Yeah, but that's in the future. Right now, it's Here's Johnny.
We've got the rest of Polka Party and all of Even Worse to get through before I even have to think about this. So this is good. We're in a good place. We're in a really good place. So Kevin, did you have any points in particular you wanted to make about Here's Johnny that we didn't hit on yet? I'm not sure how prepared you were with notes or this, that, and the other, and I didn't want you to walk out of here, and go, no, I wish I had said the thing. So this is your opportunity to say any of the things that you wish you had said.
Well, the one thing that, speaking was, okay, how is my voice going to be on a podcast? Am I going to get too excited and I start WNBC and start picking it up? Am I going to try to play it cool and lower it a whole chunk of octaves? And then I told myself, no matter how I sound, I will not sound like Fisher Stevens in Short Circuit.
Right. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
That was me pacing around eating my breakfast this morning. Yeah, just
So
thoughts.
how am I going to be on this podcast, right? You're going to be like, am I going to be up here? Am I going to be down here talking about this? So what am I going to do?
Because I did used to work in very small market radio, graveyard shift and stuff like that, and this was not the voice that was on the airwaves. It was the on air puking, as they say.
because we do
gosh.
and we're back. back, man. I can't get back. Yeah.
Exactly. But 6 hours of we're back.
Oh yeah. The two examples of that ever is the one that we always do, which is from the SNL sketch about Jimmy Fallon and Ben Affleck having their in the morning wood. That and then I don't think anyone's ever done a better example than and we referenced this earlier on Wayne's World 2, Harry Shearer, where they're doing the interview with him and he's not even paying attention at all. And he's by the, which hopefully this isn't too old of a reference for people to know, but when they go into the studio, because in radio back in the day, no one ever knew what anyone looked like. And they go in and they're going to meet this guy, Handsome Dan, and Ted McGinley walks out and they're like, oh my God, Handsome Dan, you know what it was? And he's like, I'm not Handsome Dan. And they turn around and Handsome Dan is Harry Shearer and his hair's like as tight as it can be. And he's like sweating, and whatever. And they're just like, oh, hi, Handsome Dan, but anyways, the whole time Wayne and Garth are talking, Harry Shearer's just going, yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that is good. He's like doing his whole thing. They're just like, oh, so we could see anything we want and you wouldn't listen. Like, oh, well, yeah. Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah. And he's just not even listening at all. And then ever since I saw that, anything in the 90s that I listened to, like actual shock jock radio in like Detroit, I was just, anytime I listened to something, I was like, that is totally what they're doing right now. They're like not paying attention to the people at all. Like, I bet these are the ugliest people to ever walk the earth, Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 Like, I could say you're a total tool. But yeah, anytime I think of the morning stuff, it's always that. And then when Fallon and Ben Affleck came along and perfected the whole sketch.
She works for the station, guy.
Come on, you guys. What, Andrea? She works for the station.
It's so funny.
And also, there's inappropriate Indian humor in that sketch too. But at least they're in on the joke with that one.
Yeah, Russ, if that was too old of a reference for some people, I wouldn't think so. I think you just got a whole bunch of people to rent Wayne's World 2.
I sure hope so.
We were talking about a song from 1986, so I feel like
I gotta at least sell the one other thing from Wayne's World 2 that I love, because no one appreciates the joke. When they first meet the roadie guy in Wayne's World 2, and they're going through his photo albums, and he's like telling him he's been on the road for 40 years and he's seen everyone, and they're like he's like, yeah, it was me, my old lady, and the road. And they look at these pictures and they're like, whoa, that's you with Led Zeppelin. And he's like, yep. He's like, that's you with the Doors. And he's like, yep. And they're like, who's that old lady? He's like, that's my old lady. It's like the best joke.
It's too funny. Before we get to did you have a point, Kevin?
I was just going to also give credit to someone who I don't know who it is. Actually, you might have to edit this part out because I'm going to be talking and rambling in circles. But when I was telling my folks about being on this podcast, they were like, oh, and what are you going to be talking about? And I mentioned the song. They have no recollection of me playing this song back in the 90s on loop. But I tracked down an incredible fan video on YouTube that's just chock full of Ed McMahon clips.
Yeah.
And it really, if people are unfamiliar with how these lyrics are associated with the man, that video, it will be search result number 2, I think, on YouTube.
It is.
But yeah, you get to see, the Alpo. It's a whole lot of dog eating dog food, if that's people's thing.
Yeah,
So,
I guess it's also on haphazardstuff.com is where it is. That's the thing. Yeah.
That is such a 90s, like late 90s, early 2000s website.
It's like
E-Bombs World. And
yeah.
Well, yeah, you don't want to get copyright.
I don't want to get copyright struck. I just want to see that. Well, no, I'm not even going to bother with this now. I'm clicking on it. But yeah. Haphazardstuff.com.
Yeah, if you want to watch videos of a dog eating really moist dog food.
Mm-hmm. That's why we all fed our dogs Alpo back then.
It's so moist.
Ed McMahon told us how good it was, how much dogs loved it, is what he would tell us about.
What happened to Alpo?
ALPO. I remember the logo. It was like like an oval with blue and red, white, and blue in it, of course, because Marca.
Right. Alpo Alpo wet dog food has been discontinued.
Well, yeah, we know that. No, not you. I'm talking to the internet. Wow, it was all the way until 2022. Who knew?
Didn't survive the pandemic.
There was no, it just, there was no recall. It was just, there was a decline in sales. So basically, because Ed McMahon was no longer shilling for Alpo dog.
Probably. I kid you not. Probably. That's like the number one reason why everyone bought it.
Yeah, it was.
Gosh, they couldn't have got Andy Richter.
Right.
I know, right? Oh my goodness, that touche. Well done. Oh my gosh, it was founded in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
There you go.
By Robert F. Hunsicker. Anyway, I think that's important to know. That was very good information. Thank you very much.
Well, now I'm wondering why they came up with Alpo, because I assumed it would it was created by John Alpo.
So
Alpo,
Robert, where did they get the name Alpo? Marketing, where did they get the name Alpo? Garfield was a spokescat for the brand in the 90s.
I do remember that.
That doesn't help. Alpo, an abbreviation of Allen Products.
There you go.
Because it was from Allentown, Pennsylvania.
There you go.
Yeah.
I am glad you went down that rabbit hole. Thank you, Lauren.
No worries. I'm happy to do it. This is what I do.
The first time in my life I ever had one of those moments where I was like, oh, that's neat. That's something that I never thought of before. Was obviously when I was a kid, I played a whole bunch of Nintendo and Sega, right? And I never wondered what or either name came from. But for some reason, it just never crossed my mind to wonder where the word Sega comes from. And it is from, they were originally made coin-operated games for the military. So they were service games. And then they shortened that to SEGA.
Okay.
Just the first two letters of each word. So they became Sega.
That makes sense, because with Sonic the Hedgehog, they have to live life in the fast lane. They can't say all those syllables.
You can't say it's too much.
Yeah, I know. You can't, you just can't take all those syllables. Yeah.
Huh.
So, yeah, but it's funny that you mentioned that, like where they got their name from, because I do that. I mean, you know that. I sit on the couch a lot of times. I'm like, where did that come from?
What happened here?
I do that with sayings a lot. I'm like, where's that?
Why do we say that for that?
Yep.
You know, Alpo, it's Lorne Green was a spokesman for them as well.
Mm-hmm.
And he created the concept of eating one's own dog food by claiming that Alpo is so good, he feeds it to his dogs. And Alpo was also known for its marketing campaigns that targeted the owners of, quote, real dogs, making light of consumers who pamper their dogs.
Yep. We had a big Siberian Husky. And that's why he had Alpo, because my dad was the world's most, I'm not one of those manly men type guys. So he had to feed basically the marketing that was meant for people with fragile egos. My dad was like, that's me, and bought it.
I'm a real dog.
Yeah. That's why we had a huge Husky, because my dad was like, big dog, because, I'm trying to prove that I'm a man.
Yeah. Exactly.
Gosh, and that makes sense, because I did not have Alpo, but I had an imaginary dog.
Very nice.
Not a real dog.
I'm not a real dog.
This is why you bring me on podcasts.
Right. This is what we're doing.
It's not so much that you had an imaginary dog that I'm upset over. It's that you still couldn't teach it tricks. Like, that's a bit much. Come on, man. Like, you should be able to at least get that thing to at least stay. Come on.
I love it. All right. So before we go into giving this song a rating on a scale of 1 to 27, I would be remiss if I didn't shout out the beer that I've been drinking for this entire episode. It is from Swamphead Brewery in Gainesville, Florida, which is not far from where Russ and I are currently. Mm-hmm. And the whole reason that this beer is in my house is because my friend Trisha left it here one time that she showed up. And she left it in my beer fridge. And as I said before...
Well, roll that back. You didn't say the one time she showed up, but you kind of indicated that she's only been here once.
Okay, one time she showed up and left this here. And I don't remember which time it was. She left it here.
She's here a lot.
Yeah.
One of those times.
One of those times she left it here.
Yes.
And it is a milkshake. It is a raspberry creamsicle milkshake IPA with raspberry, vanilla, and lactose. And gosh darn it, has this been delightful. Yeah, it's a sneaky 8.1%, and I've enjoyed the whole thing. So I just wanted to shout
Can
that
I
out.
name drop an alcoholic beverage?
You sure can.
All right. So I am a major lightweight and I have a 5% alcohol by volume, but it's from Ace Cider Company. And I've got the pumpkin one from last October. But Ace Cider, their pumpkin is delicious. Their pineapple is nectar of the gods, in my opinion. I've got a sweet tooth. But yeah, before I, promote them too much, I would avoid all of their other ciders. Just stick with the pumpkin and the pineapple.
There's a couple of brands out there that have like one thing that they do well, and it's like, you know what? Just stick with that.
Stick with that. Yeah. Well, I think we've been to Swamp Head, honestly.
I would, no,
That's the
for
one on the
sure.
hill.
We did a whole day where we went to a bunch of places, and
I got wet, swampy water all up in my Hey Dudes at Swamp Head.
Yeah.
But that's when I realized that there were holes in the bottom of a Hey Dude shoe, and I was like, "Oh no!"
Gainesville's a fun place though. There were still other places we wanted to go back to next time.
Yeah, so I have this brewery from them. This
nice,
beer from
there's
them.
a good
there
record. Well, I'm sure there's more, but there's at least one really good record store over there too.
Yeah, so we did that. Hooray!
I bet they wouldn't make fun of people for buying Polka Party.
No, and now I'm really curious about trying a pumpkin cider. Truth, I don't think I've ever had a pumpkin cider.
I believe it is seasonal, but yes, it is fantastic. I am very basic though. I love my pumpkin spice.
That's fine.
Come fall, but
you do,
Kevin. I highly recommend it.
Okay, I love it.
I'm so over that. Like, this isn't directed at you, but like, we have the thing where like the internet for years loves pumpkin spice, and then a bunch of people now have to like bag on it. Oh, it's so basic. Nope, it's just a thing some people like and you don't, and that's okay. You know what I mean? Like it's fine. You like what you like, and that's okay. You know?
Yep. I think that's true.
That's how I feel about it.
At my office, so the whole basic thing actually has helped me in life, because at my office there is another person with the exact same initials. It's another Kevin Taylor, and our email addresses. I'm just Kevin Taylor. They have Kevin, their middle initial, Taylor, and so I refer to, like, when they're like, which one are you in the system? I say, I am basic Kevin Taylor, because I love pumpkin spice. And
works.
It sticks in their head.
That yeah, you know what? Then that's fair.
And that's your mnemonic pumpkin device, and I think that's perfect.
It's a way to own it. Yeah,
that's the way to do it. Okay, so I'll go first with the rating on the scale of 1 to 27.
Mm-hmm.
I like Here's Johnny. I'm trying not to like overexert myself with my ratings and stuff. As far as I do get excited when this comes on. I'm gonna give it a 26 out of 27. I got no reason for not giving it 27 other than the fact that I need to make sure that I give myself some wiggle room for stuff that I like better, because I'm sure that there's things that I like better.
Okay.
So
you have Kevin go.
Kevin, you can go next, and then Russ will end it up.
All right. Well, I feel like, even though it's not in my top 10 favorite Al songs of all time, since you gave it a 26 out of 27, I feel like I need to also give it a 26 out of 27, because when I do put together, when I did put together my mix CD of Weird Al, it did make it into the top 80 minutes of Al material. So I'd say that's a 26 out of 27.
I like that.
Yeah. I also was absolutely coming in strong with a 26. Like, if you had me go first, I would give it a 26. Furthermore, I have a reason why it's a 26. I have a reason why I deducted 1 point.
Okay.
It's my second favorite song on the album.
Oh.
Hernia is number 1 with a bullet.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you shake me awake in the middle of the night and you're like, what's your favorite song on Polka Party? I'll be like, Living with a Hernia. Why? Like, and you know that to be true, by the way. Like, for real, you know this to be true. Like that like, when I say stuff like that, I'm not kidding. You know how my conviction is with like these things that I say about, like, if you can try it, do it.
I'm gonna try it.
I'm not kidding you. Do it. Like, as long as you don't run
phone out to record, you might slap me in the face, but I'm gonna get my answer.
As long as you don't run video, you can run audio. I don't care.
Okay.
But this is like hands down my second favorite song on the record. Like, I mean, by a country mile. Like, I don't even like Spuds is not even in the discussion with this song. And I liked Addicted Spuds like a great deal, but it's not even in the discussion with this song.
I love it.
So that's the only reason why it doesn't get a perfect 27, is because Hernia for me is in like the Weird Al Hall of Fame. Like, that song should be like its jersey should be hanging in the rafters of like the Weird Al arena.
Oh yeah, they should retire
So,
that number. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like that's the only reason this is not getting a 20. And like if anybody's listening and they're like, yeah, but that I don't know that song that well. Well, that's like user error does not
It's your
factor
fault.
into my rating.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I agree. This has been wonderful, gentlemen. Kevin, I'm putting you on the spot a little bit, but if there's anything that you'd like to shout out or promote or like say hey to here at the end, you totally can. If not, you can say no. I love my dog though. Whatever you want.
I do love my dog an awful lot. So yes, shout out to Tannen, yo. But no, I don't really have anything to promote aside from just be kind to one another. Yeah. Oh wait, spay and neuter your animals, and I love you.
Oh,
There you
thanks
go.
for the Drew Carey there for me. Like, yeah, right? He Drew Carey'd me.
Oh, I know. That's
great. Oh,
Classic elementary school.
classic
Kevin.
elementary school Kevin. Yeah, you know.
Oh, elementary school Kevin wouldn't have dropped the L word there. He was too insecure.
Loser.
Love? Oh man. Yeah, there you go. And so everybody knows, Lauren did put the L on her forehead.
Sure
when
did.
yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, you know what? This seems as good a time as any to wrap up this episode of the Beard Owl Podcast. We're going to come at you again next week with, I think what's up next is Don't Wear Those Shoes. And all of the folks that are in my Weird Al fandom, this person has never been on this show before, but you're sure as heck going to know who he is, I'm sure. So that's all I'll say about that. And in the meantime, stay weird, stay awesome, and have a great day. Goodbye.